Assalamu alaikum. In this video, we will discuss about iron deficiency anemia. As the name indicates, iron deficiency anemia occurs due to deficiency of iron. We know that red blood cells contain hemoglobin. This is a red cell. This is a red blood cell, and inside the red blood cell, hemoglobin is present. Hemoglobin is made up of 4 heme molecules. These are 4 heme molecules which are present inside the hemoglobin. And for the formation of each heme molecule, iron is required. As we can see that inside the center of the heme, in the center of the heme molecule, iron is present. So when there is deficiency of iron, this hemoglobin cannot be produced. Hemoglobin is responsible for carrying oxygen because it has oxygen binding capacity due to the presence of this center iron. This hemoglobin molecule carries oxygen to different tissues of the body. So whenever there is iron deficiency, oxygen cannot be carried to the tissues and there is tissue hypoxia. Moreover, there are many enzymes which require oxygen for their functioning. For example, cytochrome oxidase, which is responsible for the formation of ATP. So whenever there is iron deficiency, there is no generation of ATP and many functions of the body are destroyed. Okay, in our diet, iron is present in two forms. Basically our diet contain two components. Number one, we take animal products, and number two, we take plant products. In the animal products, for example, meat, milk and eggs, iron is present in heme form or Fe2 positive form, which is directly absorbed. So we can say that this is the iron which has maximum absorption. 10 to 20% of this iron is absorbed. Number two, we take plant products. For example, green leafy vegetables. In vegetables and fruits, iron is present in the form of Fe3 positive or ferric form. This ferric form has a very poor absorption, so there is only 1 to 2% absorption of this Fe3 positive iron. Moreover, the absorption of this Fe3 positive iron or iron which is present in the vegetables and fruits is affected by many food products. There are certain products which increase its absorption and there are certain products which decrease its absorption. For example, if we take ascorbic acid, we take sugars, then there is increased absorption of this ferric form of iron. And similarly, there are certain foods which inhibit the absorption of this iron. Okay, now the daily requirement of iron in our body is about 1 to 2 milligram per day, and on a daily basis we are taking about 10 to 20 milligram per day of iron, and out of this 10 to 20 milligram per day, only 10 to 20% is absorbed. So daily absorption of iron is about 1 to 2 milligram per day. Iron deficiency is more common in females as compared to males because females are menstruating, as well as during pregnancy, during lactation, more iron is required. So iron deficiency anemia is more common in females as compared to males. Now iron in our body is present in two forms. We have the functional form of iron and then we have the storage form of iron. About 80% of the iron is present in functional form and 20% iron is present in storage form. Functional form of iron is of three types. Either we have hemoglobin, myoglobin or muscle protein, and we have enzymes. And the storage form of iron is of two types. We have ferritin and we have hemosiderin. Actually, when a large number of ferritin molecules combine together, then they result in the formation of hemosiderin. There are certain differences between this hemosiderin storage form of iron and this ferritin form of storage form of iron. Actually, this ferritin is the mobile form of stored iron, that it can be mobilized and entered into the blood. However, hemosiderin cannot be mobilized. It has to first convert into ferritin and then it enters the blood. So ferritin is the mobile form and hemosiderin is the immobile form of the stored iron. Moreover, this hemosiderin is also known as this hemosiderin is known as the stainable form of iron because when it is treated with Prussian blue stain, then it gives blue color. So these are some differences between ferritin and hemosiderin. When hemosiderin is present in our body in large amount, then it results in a condition called hemosidrosis. Hemosidrosis is actually a condition in which large amount of stored iron is present in the body, but it is not damaging the tissues. When it starts damaging the tissues, then this condition is known as hemochromatosis. Okay, now we come to the normal pathway which the iron takes in our body. Iron is coming from food and it is absorbed from the intestine. After absorption from the duodenal cells of the intestine, the iron enters the blood. Iron is a very toxic molecule and it should not be present in free form in the blood. So, in the blood, it binds with a protein called transferrin protein. This transferrin protein is coming from liver. Here we can say that this is the liver, and from liver this transferrin protein is present, which is binding with the plasma iron. Now, after binding with the transferrin, this plasma iron is transferred to the bone marrow. In the bone marrow, it goes to the erythroid precursor cells and it is responsible for the formation of hemoglobin inside the red blood cells. So, from the bone marrow, red blood cells are coming in the circulation. Now we know that RBCs have a lifespan of 120 days, and after 120 days, these red blood cells are destroyed in spleen, in liver, and in the bone marrow. So when these red blood cells are destroyed, then this iron comes out and it is engulfed by the macrophages. So we have mononuclear phagocyte stores. This is actually the iron, which is stored form of iron. It is present in the form of hemosiderin or in the form of ferritin in the macrophages. And from these iron stores, iron is released when it is required and goes to the plasma. Now some of the iron is also going to the skin, to the gut, and to the endometrium, and it is continuously shedding from our body, because continuously skin cells are shedding, continuously the gut cells are shedding. So iron, we are continuously losing iron about 1 to 2 milligram per day. Okay, now how iron is absorbed. This is a diagram which is showing the absorption of iron. So we take iron in the form of food. We have already discussed that in the food, iron is present in two forms. In the animal products, iron is present in heme form, and in plant products, iron is present in non-heme form or ferric form. Now, this ferrous form or heme form of iron is directly absorbed into the duodenal cells from the apical side. This is the apical side of duodenal cells, and it is directly absorbed from the apical side of the duodenal cells. This ferric form of iron cannot be absorbed directly, so it is first converted into ferrous form by an enzyme which is present here, and this enzyme is known as ferroreductase. So there is ferroreductase enzyme which is activated by HCl. This ferroreductase enzyme converts Fe3 positive into Fe2 positive or ferrous form, which is then taken inside the cell with the help of transporter called DMT1 transporter. DMT1 stands for divalent metal transporter 1. Now iron has entered inside the cell. Inside the cell, a specialized protein is present called apoferritin. This apoferritin is responsible for binding free iron. After binding with apoferritin, iron is converted into a form called ferritin. So here this iron has bound to apoferritin and it is converted into the ferritin form. But not all the iron coming here is converted into ferritin. Some of the iron is still present in free form and it is then absorbed into the blood from the basolateral side of the duodenal cell. On the basolateral side of the duodenal cell, a transporter is present which is known as ferroportin. And this ferroportin is responsible for the transport of iron, Fe2 positive iron, into the blood. Now when iron is transported by ferroportin, then this iron is present in ferrous form, so it has to first convert into ferric form with the help of a protein called hephaestin or ceruloplasmin. So hephaestin or ceruloplasmin are two enzymes which are responsible for the conversion of the reduced form of iron to the oxidized form of iron. Fe2 positive is converted to Fe3 positive. Now this Fe3 positive goes to blood, and we know that it is very toxic, so it is not present in the blood freely, and it binds with a protein called plasma transferrin. This plasma transferrin then transfers this iron to various tissues of the body. Either it goes to the liver, or it may go to the other tissues of the body, and it may go to the bone marrow, where it is incorporated inside the red blood cells. Okay, now under normal conditions, liver produces a protein called hepcidin, and this hepcidin is responsible for checking the normal levels of iron in the body. Whenever there is deficiency of iron and increased absorption of iron is required, then the production of hepcidin from the liver is decreased, or there is no production of hepcidin from the liver. So there is increased absorption of iron from the apical side as well as from the basolateral side. When there is iron overload or when there is enough iron present in the blood, so we do not require more iron, then there is increase in the production of hepcidin from the liver. This hepcidin inhibits the absorption of iron from the ferroportin. So in this way, this hepcidin is controlling the level of iron in our blood. Now, what are the causes of iron deficiency anemia? Mainly, iron deficiency anemia occurs due to four causes. Number one, either there is decrease in the intake of iron, or there is decrease in the absorption of iron, or there is increase in the demand of iron, or there is increase in the loss of iron. Okay, now what are the causes in which there is decrease in the intake of iron? Decreased intake of iron may occur in the people who live in poverty or who are not taking proper diet. In strict vegetarians, this decreased intake of iron can take place. This decreased intake can also take place in infants because the human milk is not a good source of iron. Iron is present in cow milk, but it is not absorbed good from the cow milk. So small children and people living in poverty or strict vegetarians may have decrease in the intake of iron, due to which iron deficiency anemia can result. Next, we can have malabsorption. There are different malabsorption diseases. For example, the person may suffer from Crohn disease or from celiac disease or from tropical sprue. These are all the conditions which can result in malabsorption of iron. Then there may be increase in the demand of iron. Increase in the demand of iron especially occur in young children who are growing and in the adolescents when there is growth spurt, or in the pregnant and lactating women. So there may be increase in the demand of iron. Then we have increase in the loss of iron. It occurs when there is some bleeding going on. Bleeding may be from the genitourinary tract or from some gastrointestinal tract, or it may be from the endometrium. So these are all the conditions which can lead to the iron deficiency anemia. Now, what are the steps which are involved for the development of the iron deficiency anemia? Okay, now let us suppose a person who is suffering from some blood loss. Either this blood loss can be from anywhere. It may be some due to some accident, or there may be some underlying pathology due to which there is blood loss from the gastrointestinal tract, or maybe due to some blood loss due to in some genitourinary tract. Blood loss can be from anywhere. Now, person is suffering from blood loss. When there is increase in the blood loss, then there is tissue hypoxia. Okay, now due to blood loss, there is decrease in the iron. So there is increased absorption of iron. This increased absorption of iron is basically due to decrease in the formation of hepcidin from the liver. There is no production of hepcidin, so there is increase in the absorption of iron from the gastrointestinal tract. Now due to blood loss, there is also tissue hypoxia. So when there is tissue hypoxia, then bone marrow try to compensate it, and there is increased hematopoiesis in the bone marrow. So there is also increased hematopoiesis in the bone marrow. So whenever there is blood loss or whenever there is deficiency of iron in the body, then two things take place. Number one, there is increase in the absorption of iron from the gastrointestinal tract, and number two, there is increased hematopoiesis in the bone marrow. Okay, so when there is increase in the hematopoiesis in the bone marrow, then this bone marrow also requires increased iron. And we have already iron deficiency, so iron stores are mobilized. When iron stores are mobilized from the macrophages, then there is also decreased iron in the iron stores. So we have decrease in the hemosiderin, we have decrease in ferritin, also iron levels are reduced in the serum. So there is a decreased iron in the serum, and there is decrease in the saturation of transferrin. Moreover, in the bone marrow, red blood cells are not having proper iron, so there is also decreased iron loading in the red blood cells, and there is decrease in the formation of hemoglobin in the red blood cells. So red blood cells are not properly filled and they are underfilled. So we can say that these red blood cells are hypochromic. As these red blood cells are not getting proper amount of hemoglobin or proper iron, so they stay in the bone marrow for long time waiting that somehow iron will come. So when red blood cells remain in bone marrow or stay in bone marrow for a long time, they become small in size and they are known as microcytes. So two changes are taking place in the red blood cells. Number one, they are hypochromic, then number two, they are microcytes. So iron deficiency anemia can also be called microcytic hypochromic anemia. Now, what is the morphology of the red blood cells, or what is the morphology of the bone marrow in a person who is suffering from iron deficiency anemia? Here we can see the blood picture. These are the normal red blood cells, and we can see that in the normal red blood cells there is a central pallor. This is the normochromic red blood cell. Now, these are the cells in a person who are suffering from iron deficiency anemia. We can see that these red blood cells are very light colored, and they are and there is very low amount of hemoglobin inside these red blood cells. Only hemoglobin is present in a rim form at the periphery of the cell. So these are hypochromic cells. Moreover, we can see that red blood cells are of different shapes. Some red blood cells are somehow rod shaped, and some are very small in size, some are larger in size. So we can say that there are different shapes of red blood cells. This condition is known as poikilocytosis. And also there are different sizes of red blood cells. This is larger one, this is smaller one. There are different sizes of red blood cells. This condition is known as anisocytosis. So two things are taking place. There is anisocytosis, there is poikilocytosis, and there is also hypochromic cells and microcytic cells. So what are the characteristics of iron deficiency anemia? A person who is suffering from iron deficiency anemia has low level of serum iron and ferritin. There is decreased hemoglobin, because red blood cells are not properly filled with hemoglobin. There is decreased hemoglobin, there is decreased hematocrit. Hematocrit means packed cell volume. As red blood cells are smaller in size, and they are less in number, so there is decrease in the packed cell volume or hematocrit. Then there is decrease in the mean corpuscular volume. As red blood cells are smaller in size or microcytes, so there is decrease in the mean corpuscular volume. These are the characteristics of iron deficiency anemia. A person who is suffering from iron deficiency anemia has low level of hemoglobin and hematocrit, meaning packed cell volume. Then there is decreased iron stores, low serum iron and low ferritin. Red blood cells are less in number, and these are microcytic and hypochromic. Then there is poikilocytosis, meaning red blood cells are irregular in shape. There is anisocytosis, they are irregular in size. There is reduced mean corpuscular hemoglobin concentration, meaning the concentration of hemoglobin inside the red blood cells is reduced. And there is decrease in the mean corpuscular volume, meaning red blood cells are small in size. Membrane changes predisposed to hemolysis. Now, what are the signs and symptoms in a person who is suffering from iron deficiency anemia? There is fatigue and tiredness, then there is shortness of breath, there is depression, hair loss, brittle nails. Nails also become spoon shaped, or this is known as chylonychia. Then there is increased sensitivity to cold, there is frequent headache, restless leg syndrome. Person may also suffer from tinnitus, vertigo, blackouts. Then there is a condition known as Plummer-Vinson syndrome, which occurs very frequently in a person who is suffering from iron deficiency anemia. In Plummer-Vinson syndrome, three things should be kept in mind. Number one, there is atrophic glossitis. The tongue becomes very smooth and there is beefy tongue, atrophic glossitis. Then there are esophageal webs, and number three, there is microcytic hypochromic anemia. Three things are together known as Plummer-Vinson syndrome. Then the person may suffer from rapid bound pulse. Rapid bound pulse means that the pulse is very weak but the heart rate is fast. There is rapid heartbeat and shallow breathing. Then there is hyperdynamic circulation, because the blood is very thin, it has high velocity and low viscosity, so the person may suffer from hyperdynamic circulation. And there is functional murmur. Functional murmur is actually a murmur which occurs due to some functional defect outside the heart. And then there is pica. Pica means tendency to eat clay. A person who is suffering from iron deficiency anemia tends to eat clay or other things which are normally not edible. So these are all the signs and symptoms which occur in a person who is suffering from iron deficiency anemia. This is all for today. Thank you. Okay, before ending our lecture, let us cover one more thing. What is the treatment of iron deficiency anemia? Iron deficiency anemia is treated with ferrous sulfate. Ferrous sulfate can be given orally. When it is given orally, that normally it is given with juice, because it can cause certain signs and symptoms. It can cause certain side effects. It can cause nausea, vomiting. So it is given with orange juice. Or if a person is having severe side effects, then it can be given by IV. So in severe conditions, if a person is suffering from heavy blood loss and due to which there is iron deficiency anemia, then we can also consider blood transfusion. So this is all about iron deficiency anemia.